A little more of a serious one.
Yeah, a little bit more serious.
As a Christian, should you drink alcohol?
Yeah, like, is it smart to be a Christian and drink
Yeah.
alcohol? Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And I want to get what you guys think about that, so.
You want to start?
Sure, I can start. There's a lot. This is a pretty deep topic, but I'll just give you like what my personal thoughts are on it. There's a few Bible verses that base off it. Obviously, it says the Bible says the sin to get drunk, but I'm gonna go even a step further, and there's a few more verses why you shouldn't drink alcohol, really at all. One, stay sober and alert. The devil's like a roaring liar, seeking who he may devour. So just that word sober. Like, I actually remember there's a story I had in my life. So whole life, never had alcohol one time. On my wedding night, there was like champagne in the bedroom. I tasted it nasty, spat it out.
They gave it to you.
Yeah, like as a gift for the wedding night. I spat it out, and then I actually dumped it down to like, because didn't want them to.
Feel bad?
I felt bad that they like gave me a gift. I just chugged the whole thing down. Or like I left like a little.
Hannah.
I left the whole thing. And so, but like a year later, we were like on an anniversary trip in Mexico. And we were having like virgin mojitos and virgin pina coladas and all this stuff. It's probably like 10 a.m. And I'm like a bigger guy, like I'm 200 pounds.
Yes.
And I was like, I just want to see if a mojito tastes different with the alcohol. And so then I was like, it's only one like little shot. Like, I'll be fine. Like, I'm 200 pounds. And so the guy makes it, and I'm like drinking or whatever. I feel fine. And then I see after him making another one, and there's 2 shots in it. And I'm like, what the heck? And I had already drank it. And I was like, what the heck? And so then, and I hadn't eaten. Like, I hadn't eaten breakfast. It's like 10 a.m. And my cheeks feel a little rosy. And I'm not drunk or anything, but I just didn't feel like
You
sharp.
had one drink.
I had one drink. And I never had drinks in my life.
Yeah, that's
So-
probably why.
Well, and I hadn't eaten. So I was like, okay, let's go get some food. And I ate food, and I was fine. I was like, that's what this verse is talking about. Like, staying sober. I, like, in the middle of it, I was like, I never want to have alcohol again. This is the worst feeling ever. Like, because I was like, I just don't feel sharp. Like, I can't, like, think as well as I usually can. And it was, like, the worst experience ever. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. And so, yeah, that's where I feel like this verse is saying stay sober and alert, because he's seeking who he may devour. And that could be emotionally, that could be in situations, like sometimes you just do dumb stuff.
Your thought life.
Yeah, your thought life, you just do dumb stuff. And then another verse is, don't cause your brother to stumble. Like you were saying earlier, like even the appearance of evil. Like I was totally by myself. I was just with Hannah. Because there's people who see me as a role model for them. Why would I let them see me drinking alcohol? Because it then gives them permission to do it.
Well, they're just going to make an excuse like, well, Michael does it,
then I
so
can do
I
it.
can do it.
Yeah.
And so if they're,
Especially if you're the example of like someone
Yeah.
who's living right.
Yeah.
if they're looking for a way out, if they're looking for an excuse
They'll
or
use
a-
Justifications.
They're gonna
looking
use
for
that.
justifications. Yeah.
And so I really like that position, Michael, because I agree with it 100%.
Yeah.
I like, even for myself, years ago, I drank lots and lots and lots, party with it, drank with tons. And in fact, a lot of regret with it, a lot of pain with it, actually. I remember one time at a wedding, at a family, close friends of our family. I'm at their wedding, and I got so, I didn't even enjoy the wedding. And I got so hammered drunk that I ended up asleep on the table, the dinner table, having my dad and my brother walk me out into my car. And it was a brand new car. I just bought the car. And they put me in the back seat of the car. And Christelle drove us home. And I vomited in the back seat of the car. So for the rest of the time that I owned the car stunk.
That sucks.
Reminding me of the stupidity of getting hammered drunk.
Dang.
And so I actually don't like alcohol. I think it's not a sin to drink alcohol. I think a couple of things. I'll use one verse. It's found in Proverbs 31, verse 4. It says, it is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take strong drink, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. So, alcohol, it's actually not good for leaders, in my opinion, based on this verse, to be drinking.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a lifestyle. I think if you're going to drink, it should be very rare. And I won't, if I'm invited for dinner and other people are drinking, I could care less. I'm not there to judge them. I'm not going to excuse myself to do it because they're doing it. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Now, if my kids are drinking, it matters to me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in my fridge. It's not going to be around my house. I don't want my kids to see it because I don't want it to be, my role model to my kids is that I'm okay to drink. So I'll never, and if I have, and I have drank, it'll be privately with Christelle. It'll be private. It's not going to be a public matter.
Yeah.
Because I will not give any fuel to anyone as an excuse for them to drink either.
Yeah.
So that's my stance on alcohol.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think one thing I've thought about before was also I don't remember exactly the quote of the verse. I think you probably will, but it's the verse about the sins going on to the third and fourth generation. It's not that it's a sin to drink alcohol like you were saying, but I don't even want to open the door to a possibility of either my ancestors and how that could be even accessible to me, or even I have the bent to drink. Maybe I've never drinking alcohol, but I don't want to risk that. I don't want to open the door for that and say I do. Now future generations have a similar bent. That part about it I don't like about drinking. I'm just like, why open the door? I heard this one testimony from one of my friends in my in a Bible school I was at. He was telling me the reason he stopped drinking. He said he was in like a lounge kind of pub, like jazz club kind of vibe. And he was sitting there and his friends were just drinking like, I think it was wine or whatever, like margaritas. They weren't getting drunk or anything, but they're all Christians there. And then he heard the Lord tell him, can you tell the difference between you and anybody else in this room? Basically, he was at the bar area. And he's like, I couldn't tell the difference. If I was somebody, I'm not giving any example of being a Christian in the slightest. Like, you couldn't tell the difference between my life and his just by looking at this room right now. So then he was immediately convicted and then stopped drinking. So I think that also points out because you both talked about like being a leader and not drinking because you're setting example, you have a bigger responsibility than somebody else. But I also think the appearance of evil is a verse that I want to go off of, because if it's not that it is evil, but especially if you're a leader, you don't want the appearance of evil in there. I mean, even with certain things, other things, even Billy Graham, like you pointed out, you wanted to talk to Billy Graham. He said he wouldn't have any female secretaries.
No, it wasn't that. It was he would never be alone in a room.
Alone in a room with a female.
Yeah.
And that was to avoid the appearance of evil.
Yeah.
So there's many responsibilities, especially if you want to be a leader as a man, whether it's through your home or your ministry or your work or your business, and alcohol included. I think you should avoid alcohol completely. I think it's not even like that enjoyable.
It's a waste of time.
It's just a waste of your life. You're setting a worse example. You're giving people under you and justification excuse to drink.
It's actually poison too.
Well,
And it's
your
unhealthy.
body.
It's not
so bad
like
for
I don't
your
even
body.
You're
understand.
gonna get fat. You're like, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
This thing is not
It's
good
so
for
bad
you.
for your cells.
It's a bunch of sugar. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. So
Alzheimer's.
if you're gonna drink, in my opinion, it would be on a rare occasion. And if you're doing it the next day, you got a problem.
Yeah.
That's when you should stop.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on alcohol. I think I loved your guys' thoughts too. And I never really pushed this, my belief on this. I don't even remember having a conversation about this.
No.
It's just not around us.
I don't think any one of us have ever drank before in any way.
No.
Much.
So, boom. That's all we
Yeah.
got.